mics though. Your mics are on? Okay. So for recording purposes, I gotta use the microphone. Okay. So thank you ladies for coming. I appreciate it. Don't be nervous.
Thank you so much for having us. I'm so excited.
You're welcome. So I want to get into before the company. What were you guys doing? Like, were you have professional careers? Were you stay-at-home moms? Like, what was the profession before the business?
Well, I was a college student. I went to Fashion Institute of Technology in the city. I actually started a children's clothing line, but before that, I was a stylist assistant. Where I was working with celebrities and doing photo shoots and magazine shoots and traveling the world. And then from that, I kind of went into fashion corporate. And then from there, I started a children's clothing line.
Also, yourself?
So I started out working in corporate. I was working for American Express.
Okay.
And then I believe I worked there for maybe 6 years and decided that I needed a change. And so I went back and I got my master's degree. And I landed a job with the New York City Department of Education, and I was a classroom teacher.
Okay, so that's like different dynamics for the two of you guys.
Yeah, but you know what? It worked with me having the creative side in fashion and just coming from that area, and then her with the education. It was perfect to create like a fun place for children.
Right. So was there, because you American Express in teaching, you're traveling over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Was there something that you didn't like about your professions that you can share?
Well, for me, working at American Express, I would always say to myself, and I remember this conversation when you came to my job that day, and I was just like, and he was like, I don't know how you can sit at a desk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I was just like, you know, I do want to someday own my own business, you know, to be able to call the shots, you know, so I don't have to be able to answer to anyone.
Right.
And then I knew that I eventually wanted to start a family, and so, of course, if you have children, the ideal situation is to be able to work for yourself.
And for me, being in fashion, it was fun. Basically running all around the city, going to showrooms, pulling, working with celebrities and artists and doing award shows. Very fast paced, and I kind of wanted, when I graduated college, I wanted something that was more steady.
Okay.
Because I was just a stylist assistant at that time, and I was never home. You know, one day I'm in LA, next day I'm in Chicago, the next day I'm traveling to London. So I kind of wanted more stability because I did want to become an entrepreneur and start my own business, and I kind of wanted the experience of corporate life. I definitely feel like when you start in the business, you want to work somewhere in corporate where it kind of help you with business, just to get your feet wet. So that's pretty much how I shifted, but I still did both a little bit at the same time before I did a full transition. Mm-hmm.
So one thing I like to talk about is when you start a business, you want to solve a problem. So what was the problem that you recognized that made you create your brand?
I didn't want to report to anyone, but myself.
But there was something that you saw that made you say, "Oh, we need to open up a kids spa salon." Like, what was the problem y'all was solving to open that?
So, me being a mom of two children, a girl and a boy, life was just very overwhelming. And so, you know, to come up with the concept and just have an idea of a kids spa and salon where you could service the moms, the dads, it's unisex, so it's for the boys and the girls, you know, kind of like a one-stop shop,
Right.
where everybody can get everything done. Because, of course, the daughter wants to be like mommy. You know, she wants to look like mommy. She wants to act like mommy. She wants to get everything that mommy does. She wants, and then the boy wants to make sure that he's groomed.
Right.
And so, it's an ideal situation to have a kids spa where everyone can get their needs met, all in one stop, one shop, done.
So being that you guys are cousins,
Yes.
so at what point did you say, okay, this is the problem. We need a one-stop shop. I'm tired of working. Both want to be entrepreneurs. When do you guys say, okay, let's start?
Well, it was about 6 years ago. Like Jatan said, at that time I didn't have any children. And so she kind of came to me and said, you know what, let's start a business together. So we always talked about for years starting a business together. And we were like, okay, well, what kind of business are we gonna start? And so, like she just said, like she wanted to one-stop shop with both children. So she said, well, let's open up a Kids Salon. So we said, okay, that sounds like something. And so we met first before we developed a business plan, and we kind of brainstormed. And then I came up with the name Milk and Cookies. How, I have no idea, but that's just
catchy.
but that's just my like creative. I love being creative. So I don't know, maybe I was craving it at the time. So I was like, and she was like, and we was like, that worked. Milk and Cookies, Kids Salon, and it's so funny how it just happened.
It worked.
And then from there we said, okay, well, we need a plan. So before we went to do a business plan, we kind of went to Staples, we bought boards, you know, we basically did a vision board of what our business looked like from beginning to end. And then from there, we seeked out to do a business plan. And we find that that was more helpful because we wanted to envision ourselves actually being there, being the customer. You know, like she said, she had children, so they were our muse behind the whole, you know, Milk and Cookies brand. Not many kids spas and salons offer services for boys, so we wanted to be different. Which is why in our shop is very colorful. It caters to both boys and girls. You won't see a bunch of pink and purples. You'll see blues and greens and yellow and orange because we want boys to feel comfortable coming to our salon as well.
And I think that it was also important in coming up with the name. We wanted to make sure that we can offer something for people to take home with them, the kids to enjoy, like the milk and the cookies. You know, that's something that's enticing for the kids, you know, because everybody loves a milk and a cup of milk and a cookie to go with it. Mm-hmm. So it was just, okay, you come up with the name, but also we give them the snack, you know, the snack and the dessert to go.
Yep. No, I love that. I shared with my class who wasn't here. I took my goddaughter there for her birthday, and her little girlfriends went, and they had like a beautiful time from the whole picking the nail polish color and the facials or something. She didn't want to do the facial, but then I was like, listen, it's part of the package. You're gonna get this facial.
Right.
But then when she did it, she was just like, oh, I had so much fun. Mm-hmm. And she wanted to come back again. So my question is, you said you have 2 children?
Yes.
At the time when you started 6 years ago, were they like babies or were they fairly young?
Younger. So my daughter must have been 3.
Okay.
4, I'm sorry. And my son was 7 at the time. Daughter 3 and my son was 7. And so my daughter, you know, she would come to get manicures and pedicures with me. And so she would always want to get her nails and her feet done. And so I saw how the excitement, you know, how much she loved it, and she loved to get her hair done. So
it's really empowering.
Yes.
It is for a young girl.
Yes.
But I asked about your kids because I'm big on creating generational wealth, and I'm big on preaching that message. And seeing your kids, so being that young, they saw you through the process.
Yes.
So did you have them like help out, like, you know, package these nail polishes, or you know,
yes.
Did you have ideas?
Yes.
That's your demographic.
So oftentimes Tay and I would come up with things, and we would run them past my son, for example, because he's the boy, to make sure that he felt comfortable. Is this something that you like or you're interested in? And also, I think it was not this summer in particular, but every other summer, like he comes, he works at the shop for a day, you know, and I'll pay him something, and he's cleaning up, you know, he's checking coats in and checking people, you know, customers stuff in the back. He's serving milk and cookies, you know, and actually, you know, the customers, they enjoy, you know, him, you know, offering, okay, do you want a sugar cookie or a chocolate chip cookie? And so, you know, they'll give him a gratuity, you know. So it was one summer, you know, we were going on vacation, and he's like, you know, Mom, I do not want to go on all these vacations. I really need to go to work. I really need to make money. Yes, he really loved the idea of working. And for me, as a parent, you know, you want to instill that in your children, you know, so that they know you have to work hard for everything that you have. Nothing comes easy.
Right. That's the best story I heard today. No vacations, Mom. No, forget Disneyland.
Oh, and don't let us owe him, because he'll be like, y'all owe me money.
Yes. I didn't get paid today.
I did 4 hours today, according to my calculations. No, that's really cool. So, did you have entrepreneurs within your family, or this is like brand new out the gate? You're learning as you go.
Well, for me, I started a kids clothing line in 2010, which was very successful. It just was very costly to continue to produce because we actually did cut and sew.
Oh, wow.
So for me, I gained so much knowledge from actually starting the business. So it was pretty much, we kind of had a flow. We knew what we were doing. We knew how to start, how to end, what to do. So it was kind of pretty much not easy because this was a brick and mortar, so it was a little different. But the basics of it was pretty.
So I want to get to the brick and mortar part because owning a brick and mortar in New York City, 64th and First, right? Prime location there. I can feel the hurdles.
It was not easy to get there.
So I want to ask, were there other locations that you looked at first before you made that decision?
Yes.
And what was it about that location that you are now that made you say, we're gonna jump? This is the jump we're gonna make.
Well, very funny story. That location was the first location we looked at, and that was a location we did not want.
Oh, wow.
Right. So from there, we searched for about 3 more months, and we actually found the location in Chelsea, and we put a bid in, and we were getting the ball rolling. The landlord happened to be an attorney. He kind of sent us for a loop. It was very stressful, and he cost us a lot of money with the attorneys. So our attorney said, you know what, girls, just let this place go. And us, this is our first location. We're so excited. No, we need this. We don't have to do too much work. She said, let it go. We didn't listen. We kept going. And then eventually we dug ourselves deep in a hole before we even got started. Wow. We were about 7,000 in the hole. Ooh. And we didn't even have a store. We just had an idea on paper. Wow. So then we started the process again. We dropped it. We let it go. It just wasn't working out. And then we went back to the first location. And so the reason why we did not want that location was because we're new, we're small, we don't even have that much money to work with. We needed a bathroom on that level. It was supposed to be ADA compliant, and it was too much money. We was like, oh my God, we can't build a bathroom. This is crazy. So then we brainstormed, we consulted with family, and we said, all right, let's give it a shot. So then we went to our agent, and we kind of placed a bid, but again, it was not easy.
Right.
For us to get that location.
And so there was another location that came up, that popped up, and it was on 96th Street and First Avenue. Oh, I remember, because I went to that location, and I wasn't pleased. I wasn't pleased with the neighborhood, the demographics, and it's so crazy because still First Avenue, 30 blocks away, but it just changes. It just changed everything. And I said, nope. I said, let's go back to 64th Street. I think this is it.
I like the 64th Street. I don't know about the other ones, but the reason why I like it is because the Jackson Hole's not too far from it. So you can smile, eat.
Then you have
a whole event. Dylan's is down the block. So it's like that you picked the right
amount. Opened up on Lexington.
And 16 handles.
Yep. So we were right in the area where all of the children's developments was happening. So it ended up being a great prime location for us, but we was hesitant. You have to open up, build a bathroom. The rent is crazy. So we kind of took a leap of faith.
Were there a lot of permits?
Oh,
there we go.
Oh,
I told y'all about permits, right?
Yes. I became a contract manager, okay?
And the city is so slow, they take so long. You hire someone affiliated with the contractors to do the work, and they just drag their feet, not understanding the demands that we have, the timeline, what we're looking at, and that every day is costing us money. That's the reality. So we need to get this job done ASAP. But it's just like the time frame that they give you is like, what did he say? Maybe 6 weeks, and I think he said something like 6 weeks, and I don't like to put a deadline. And we were like, what? We're running out of time.
We gotta open tomorrow.
Yes. And for those who don't know, when you open up a brick and mortar and you negotiate, getting a space, the landlord will negotiate free time. And so with that free time, you get to build out your store, and you kind of prepare to open up, lead into your grand opening. So for us, we had about
3 months.
We had about we took possession in October, and we were scheduled to open February 1st.
Okay.
But that's not really a good time. Why? Because next month is Thanksgiving. After that is Christmas. After that is New Year's.
Then you have snowstorms.
And you got Valentine's Day.
Keep in mind that everybody does not feel like your project is as important anymore. You know, when they get the job, they're very excited because they have the money.
They got what they wanted.
Right. But it's not. You know, it's a snowstorm. Oh no, we're not there. Oh, it's Thanksgiving. No, we're not there.
And holiday season, that's break time.
So you losing a lot of time. So with that being said, I had to put my construction hat on. I had to get involved. I had to learn that process. What do you need? You know.
So did you build a bathroom?
Listen,
I did. Putting up lights, doing floors.
But before we even get to that, it was a point where we had to get inspection for plumbing, and so with that, the walls were open, so you couldn't close the walls until they came and inspect. And so we had an architect, and the architect drew out the plans, and so all of your team have to work together, from your plumber, your architect, your contractor, your electrician, and your HVAC guy. And so they would bump heads. I'll get phone calls about them fighting because maybe the HVAC guy didn't look at the plans, and so now he put a pipe in the plumbing section, so now they pissed. So now we dealt with a lot of that. And then from there, the plumber was supposed to schedule to get us inspected right before the grand opening because we needed time to close the walls. No, the architect didn't submit the drawings in time. I went to the DOB myself, okay? I was an expediter myself. People pay lots of money for an expediter. They pay about $2,500 for an expediter to go and stand online and submit your drawings and submit your plans.
You need time for that, right?
Yes.
Listen, on lunch break, because I was still working in corporate at that time.
Okay.
So I had to jump in a taxi, get there. The lady was so helpful. She had to help me figure this out because, again, I'm new. The architect told me he filed the plans. Come to find out, his check didn't go through, so they didn't even process it. Like, it was crazy, that whole process. Finally, I got into work, and from there, they needed me to schedule. Now, I called to get our appointment scheduled, and of course, oh no, ma'am, you can't schedule it. The plumber has to call and schedule it. I said, what? So I'm in the cab, phone dying, had to call a plumber. They said, no, the plumber has to call us. You can't call on three-way. Had to tell them, please, when I hang up, please call them. Like, it was a full process. And this was something that I'll never forget. And so word of advice is when you start a project, be hands-on, know what's going on. It's new, but it doesn't take, very long to learn, to read, to Google. And just learn the steps. What do you need first? Okay, the architect needs to submit drawings. Okay, if you have to move pipes, you have to get that approved. For us, we needed to build pedicure stations, hair stations. All of that did not exist. We needed to build the bathroom. So we had a lot of work to do in that store.
It sounds costly.
Very.
Sounds like nerve-wracking, number one. Like, I would have had a few anxiety attacks.
Yes.
But it sounds costly. So when it came to funding the business, was it just out of pocket, loans, crowd, like family and friends pitching in? Like...
Everything. Pretty much. Everything. Our savings, family, loans, credit cards. We literally, before we started, we had to build a plan. Obviously, we can't jump out the window without a plan of how much money it is going to cost to start the business. So we did that, which is why we knew we could not afford to build the bathroom. So again, we took a leap of faith because this was the best location. But that wasn't in our budget to build the bathroom.
And I think that it's the biggest myth that they say, the banks will give you money. You can get a small business loan. When you first open up a business, you do all your paperwork, you get registered. So that takes about a couple of months to get done. So your doors don't open just because you have a new business. And so the banks don't want to hear that. Just because, milk and cookies exist, but when did you open the doors? When did you begin making money? And so you have to prove, and that takes years to prove that your company is grossing this amount and now I'm qualified to take a loan. So they're just not giving away money. It's very hard to get a loan from banks, like a small business loan, just to let you know.
So when it came to saving, because you have your children, your regular life, rent, but you have to save for the business. Were there any guilty pleasure sacrifices that you had to cut off that you want to share?
Absolutely.
Shopping.
Your whole lifestyle.
Shopping.
Yeah, shopping,
You have to
living the bare minimum, because sometimes we were taking our salaries and we were putting it toward the business. That's the reality. So, yes, everything.
And so the best way that worked for us was treating it like a bill. So every pay period, we would dump money into a shared bank account. So before we actually really got started, which we registered the business a year before we actually opened. So we took that year to plan out, and we opened a bank account together. So every pay period, that was our obligation. Whether we dumped in 1,000, whether we dumped in 1,500, we always matched each other. So that was a dedication, because we felt like if you wait to do monthly or bi-monthly, it would never happen.
Right.
So it became, we had to change our lifestyle. We both was working in the city at that time, so not really getting lunch, in the city.
At home,
Bring
bringing
your
lunch
lunch.
to work.
Yeah, in the
Instead of
city,
eating
you
at the
easily
restaurant.
spend $15, $20 on lunch. Not shopping, buying shoes and bags, because come on.
You came from a fashion industry too.
That was, not going on vacations, having to skip a year, with your friends and outings. So we made a dedication to ourselves that and to each other that we would, dump money in.
But but doing that together, y'all had someone to lean on.
Right.
Like, yo, girls, it's hard, man.
Yeah.
Like, what are you cooking?
You really need.
And I cook the most, and I'm the
Support
youngest. Okay, she is, and she eats the most.
And you know what? And I have 2 children, and I'm like,
whatever.
this is too much. I can't do all this. I cannot cook. So you could cook. I'll come over. We'll bring the kids, and we'll just eat there.
Good family.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right.
So being cousins and being in business, I could tell you have like a great, strong relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But when it came to being in business, what did y'all butt heads on?
That at some point, sometimes it's challenging because with her having children, me, I'm single. I don't have any children. So the workload became very heavy, and so sometimes you want people to do things when you want them to do it. So you learn that it doesn't work that way. But you have to give each other responsibilities. So I've learned that instead of getting frustrated, listen, here's what you got to do. So
Gotcha.
She has her own timeline now at this point versus, when we have things to do and I'm doing it because I'm quick, I'm working all night, I'm up 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm nonstop working. Meanwhile, she sleeps, she's getting ready, with her children. Right. So just learning to balance that out and giving her responsibilities too, where we kind of balance it out, which means she has her own time to work on it and it needs to be submitted at a certain time. But, in the beginning was a bit challenging because I was always ready to go. I was a firecracker, non-stop working. I didn't sleep. I would be working all night.
And I think for me, because I had children, it's finding balance. Sometimes, I have to give to the kids. Sometimes I'm working in the daytime and I'm trying to do things for milk and cookies on my day job. And then after the kids go to sleep, I'm exhausted. But then I'm trying to finish up what I have to do for milk and cookies. And I remember this one day we were at your house and our cousin was there. And we were talking about the packages, and building the concept. And our cousin looked at us because she and I were arguing over, no, this don't sound good. No, this package fits right. And our cousin was just looking at us. And then, we were just arguing back and forth. And then it all came together. And we were like, okay, well, how does this sound? And then it all came together. And we were just normal, but it's like a sister bond, like a sibling bond. You fight, you fuss, you love each other, and you keep it moving at the end of the day.
It's not malice. It's just
we definitely had some fights along the way, and then 5 minutes later we're normal. But it's weird. Like you don't want to be around in those fights because it's like, yo, don't even talk to me. Like
that's it.
No,
don't talk to me.
Yo, how did other family members deal with that?
Mind their business.
Right. That's it.
Mind your business.
And I think that everybody does a good job at staying out of it, and then we thug it out, and it occurs, and we keep it moving.
It's like let us have our moments of fight right now, but just stay out of it. Don't even, because then if you jump in it, then you getting it too.
Right.
It's that kind of a thing. So we fight real quick, and then we hash it out, and then at the end of the day, it has to be a solution though.
Right.
So okay, so what are you doing? And then it gets done, but we've definitely had our fights.
So we found the building. You registered the business a year in advance.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
One thing people will assume is that your demographics is kids, which it is kids, but parents have to bring the kids there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So in the process of getting ready for the opening, how did you find your audience? Like, how did you get them in the doors and be customers?
School system. I mean,
Cool.
we
That.
yeah, school
And you
system,
know what?
libraries,
We
museums.
had a good realtor as well that was able to help us and pull up some research for us to look at the parents' income, because that's definitely a plus. You want to know, the demographics. What's the salary, of the residents in the neighborhood,
and that's
their
why
lifestyle.
96th Street did not work. Because our prices, the rent in New York City, you have to develop your prices in order to survive. You have to develop your prices to be able to afford to cover your expenses.
Right.
So that's why 96th Street just didn't work.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what else did you? Because the social media is popping.
Oh,
I
thank
love
you.
it because it's very. You do more videos over pictures. I mean, you do some pictures, but the videos is what gets the attraction. You show the scenes. You do the boomerangs, which I love. So has social media been more beneficial than now that social media is like everything these days?
I would say when you're starting a business, you definitely need a marketing plan. And for us, we started our marketing plan 3 months before we opened. So we got people excited about the brand. We hired a PR company. We worked with the PR so we can pretty much get exposure everywhere. Not just social media, but in magazines, the top bloggers, the influencers, getting all those people to visit your salon and then talk about it. So when we first opened, we had so much press. I mean, still to this day, we have a lot of press, but we've been in Parents Magazine.
It was on Pics. That's how I learned about it years ago.
Yeah, so I mean, New York Times, W11 came, Mr. G came. So just pretty much gathering all of our press and kind of using that as leverage.
Right.
I think that kind of builds our credibility. So for that, it's like figuring out what your niche is and using that marketing tool to get people to learn about you. And make you credible, and having people really experience it. So people who actually visit the salon and wrote about us, they actually been there. Their children been there, so they was able to talk about something real, their real experience, just like you. So that's important to invite people to your salon and working with a PR team. Marketing is expensive, but it's very important.
No, that's true. When it comes to like word of mouth, because I figure word of mouth may help more with sales. Has that been like a big factor?
Yeah.
Over everything else?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when it comes to networking, because yes, you have the PR firm, but I know you guys have to get out there yourselves too. So how do you go about like picking the events? Is it more kid friendly or just how do you find the events that you can like give some tips?
We never really do speaking engagements, so this is something new for us. We do a lot of partnerships with other brands that's related to children to kind of get us out there so parents can know about us. So this is something exciting, and we're really happy to be able to share our experience because it's real. It happened. There was hiccups along the way, but it exists, and we made it happen.
I wanted to ask, what was the biggest hurdle? I mean, you was $7,000 in debt before you opened, so that was a hurdle. But was there like a challenge that
staffing?
I was about to say
that
was my capital.
No, people don't hard work.
Is a major issue.
How many employees you have to go through before you find the right one?
Oh my gosh! I swear, our business manager every week would be like, "If y'all don't stop adding people onto this payroll and taking them off."
Is that bad?
And you see what happens is that for the salon, for hairstylists, they have to be licensed. And so what happens is we network with salons, and people are so unprofessional in the school. They graduate with their cosmetology license. And I just remember being in college, and I remember business class 101. You have to interview, you have to wear a suit, you have to bring your resume, you have to speak professionally, and they don't get that training at all.
Now they hand you their cell phone with their profile.
Yeah, that's true. They come in with crop tops on, on, no resume sometimes. I mean, it's unbelievable. You hear them speak, it's just like, it's just so unprofessional.
And people don't want to work. They want the money, but they don't want to work. At that age, I wanted to work. I was a hustler. I was out busting my butt, doing 2 jobs, finding out how I can volunteer. I mean, getting my face out there. But now, people want a job, but they don't want to work.
And I think that because this is a different generation, things are handed to them. And music is these videos, what's on TV is influencing them.
Yes.
It's influential. And so, professionalism is like out the window, especially in this cosmetology field. And so with nails, we've been able to get away. You don't have to have everybody that's licensed, but ironically, what happens is, we started out trying to hire a more senior staff. And so because we're so fast paced, we found out we need the younger generation to keep up, with this fast pace, because it's like you're servicing customers. You need to be done in 15 minutes. They need to be at the cookie cafe having milk and cookies, and then you need to be on to your next customer if you're giving a manicure.
And not only that, the older generation don't want to have conversation with children.
That's true.
Versus the younger children, it's important. Customer service is very important for us. You need to talk to the kids when they walk in. How is school? What's your favorite color? What's your latest song? Like, you need to converse with them and get them excited about their services. And with the older generation, they just want to do their service, but they don't want to talk. They don't want to say how you doing.
Yeah.
And also with the older generation, they're not into trends, so now some of the kids, they want these cool designs on their nails, so sometimes they're not into trends, trendy hairstyles, that's a big thing. When we have these press calls and these companies, these magazines, they want certain hairstyles and different looks. And so oftentimes if, the stylist is older, they're not into the trends, so they don't know the trendy looks.
No, that makes sense a lot. If you don't know the trends, you're not speaking their language.
But it's weird because staff is a very
staffing is like
ongoing issue. So beware.
Yes, and two, you have to train them with customer service. I see you're recording right now, and you have such a beautiful smile. And you would say a smile, it doesn't cost anything to do it, but no one wants to smile. You are like pleading and begging your staff. It doesn't cost you anything to just smile. Be friendly. Find out what the kids like to do, what they're interested in. What do they do in school? Just simple questions.
Right.
And it's crazy because when they come to the interview, I'm great at customer service. I smile.
Kids.
Yeah, when they job start, it's like you be like, wait, hold on. I know we discussed this in the interview, and so it's like we gotta look at each other and say, let's just chop it now. Let's let it go.
Yep. Sometimes that's what you have to do,
because everybody knows how to do a job at an interview until they get the job. When they get the job.
That's super. Y'all make me laugh.
It's real.
But let's talk about the products and services that you got, because they got the idea that it's a kid spa salon, but you actually have kid friendly nail polish and facial, so that had to be an extra research and like finding the right nail polish and the facial. So can you just talk to the class about like how and why you decided to go that way instead of using like regular nail polish?
So with that, our spa is very sweet driven. So we wanted to create sweet treat spa like products. So with that, we didn't want to do what's typically out there. So we worked with a chemist that specializes in natural products, and her products are amazing. So we work with her to create custom, scrubs, and so we spend a lot of time and money into our spa products, making sure that it caters to all skin. It's even helped people with eczema. We've had customers come back and be like, oh my God, can I get that, souffle? It smells good and it helps with, my eczema. So we made sure that we did that. We made sure that we work with somebody who understands the natural products. And we stay far away from peanuts. That's a very common allergy with children. So learning the children market for us was major. So learn your market, know what you can have and what you can't have, and
stay theme based. And so, when you think of milk and cookies, you think of the idea of smelling the fresh aroma when you walk in the shop of freshly baked cookies. And so we had to connect it. And so when you think about the scrubs, they have a different scent to it. And so like if it's a lemon scrub that you're getting, you're gonna smell lemons. You know, chocolate chip, it smells like a chocolate chip cookie. Mint chocolate chip, it smells like a mint chocolate chip cookie. So, you know, we wanted to make sure that it was theme based, but also you can enjoy it from start to finish. And so when you're getting your manicure and pedicure, it's like you're getting hungry, you want cookies, you know. So definitely theme based is the way to go in addition.
And even for our facial products, making sure that it was very sensitive, you know, for the children, but then also moisture in their face. So we wanted to make sure that the products really worked. It's not just all sweet treat related, but that
it's actually beneficial.
Yeah. So
can you buy them?
No, not
it's
yet.
Just exclusive.
Yes.
Okay, it's coming soon.
Coming soon.
Okay. No, it's smart because being that you have a brick and mortar, you have to, like, I have a friend who owns a clothing store, and he has to do more than sell clothes. Like, he goes to events there, open mics, like just different things to get extra income. So do y'all do other things? Like, do you have like birthday parties and stuff like that there?
We do.
Yes.
We do, and we use the nail polish, and so safety first, of course. And so when you bring your children to, let's take an adult salon, you know, do you ever notice that you smell those harsh chemicals, you know, and it's bad for adults, you know, so imagine what it is, how horrible it is for the kids. And so that was something that was most important to us, you know, so we wanted to make sure that we were using the safe nail polish with no harsh chemicals in it. And so if the kids inhale it, you know, it's not detrimental to their health as well.
Can you describe the first year in one word?
Stressful.
The first day, a disaster.
Wow, this should lead us to the next story.
It was a disaster for us personally, but a successful day.
Oh,
yes.
Perception-wise, it was successful,
yes.
But behind
So
the
We
scenes,
slept there. We didn't even shower.
When I say disaster, it's because the shop was not finished.
but no one could tell.
No, you can tell.
Oh,
But the press, everybody was scheduled to come, and so we went forward. We had to. We had no choice.
I mean, we had staff come in and say, "Are we even opening today?" I mean, we had friends, family, everybody pulled their weight.
Helping. We didn't go home. We didn't shower. You know.
We didn't have clothes. I wore rain boots.
And I think I had a sweatsuit on, and it was just.
I cried.
We're open.
It was a successful day.
It was.
I mean,
It
we
was.
made a lot of money. People was raving about it. I mean, you couldn't even tell, and that's important. You know, from behind the scenes, you're gonna go through so much, but it's important to put on a straight face and get the job done when it's time.
And
Lights on, let's go.
And I think back to, that's a part of our history.
Yeah.
You know, it comes with the territory. You know, starting a business from the ground up, nothing comes easy, and
That's
so
true.
it's just a part of our history.
You've been open, what, is it 6 years now?
4.
4 years.
Ooh,
4 years.
wow,
I'm
6.
sorry.
Wow.
So 5th year's coming
So
up.
we look that good.
I've been open for a long time. So you're approaching your 5th year.
Mm-hmm.
That's a milestone. So you said stressful, disaster, but 4 years in, like, how does it feel? Like, do you sometimes walk in your store and be like, oh, I own this?
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. Every time the doors open.
Mm-hmm.
And the customers just bring so much joy to your heart, like, quite honestly. And then because they have joy in their heart, they enjoy the business and the professionalism, you know, of our staff, and they just admire the customer service and everything that we have to offer.
Now, I know she's talking all the good stuff here, but
Bring it on.
let's be real. You know, over 4 years, you're going to hit hiccups in the business, and you're not going to please every customer that walks through your door. So for us, for a few years, every time we would get a negative review, our hearts would be so broken. You know, so learning how to deal with that sort of reject, because it happens. Not everybody's going to be happy when they walk in. So learning how to deal with that, learning to make sure that you train your staff, because you're not there every second of the day.
Right.
And I mean, we're on 65th Street, so for us it's very crucial. If you don't say boo when they walk in, it's like, oh my God, I walked in and they didn't even say hi, or, you know, or they took someone before me, you know, without an appointment. So it's just like every little thing is a problem.
Right.
I mean, I've had a customer walk in and she didn't have an appointment. She was like, well, I want to be seen now. And I said, but you'll walk in. You have to sign a list. And we'll get to you. I have 3 people ahead of you. Oh no, but I want to go first. I said, unfortunately, ma'am, if that was the case, you should have booked an appointment.
Yeah.
But everybody feels entitled, especially on 65th Street. So learning how to deal with that customer base. And, you know, we have people of color who come in, and we want to be fair to everyone. But not everybody walk in, they want to feel entitled. They want to feel like they're more important than the next person. So learning how to handle that crowd, and learn how to take rejection. You know, everybody is not going to be happy.
Oh, go ahead.
And I think that we had went to this meeting, and we were sitting amongst other children business owners, and just to hear them say, "Oh yeah, we got a bad review. We got a bad review,"
And they were so calm.
and they were like, what, you know. And so you learn over time. You know what? It's a bad review. Chalk it up, and you just keep it moving. You know, you train your staff, and you just
No, because us, we cry.
in the beginning, because it's like, this is your baby.
Professional way.
You know, and it's like,
we
somebody wrote a bad review. Oh my goodness. You know, it's like somebody hitting your baby. You know, your child. But you know what? You just have to keep it moving. You know, I think that the strength that you have to just keep it moving.
Yeah.
And just know that tomorrow is another day to correct, you know, what was wrong yesterday.
Right. But we still uphold a good rating though. We're like 4.5. You know.
That's good.
So
That's beyond good.
No, yeah, it is. But trust me, it wasn't
It's
easy.
hard to keep too.
And you know, and the thing about it is too is that if you have a situation in the shop, and it could be with a customer that's having a complaint, you know, and they really tend to embarrass you, you know, but you have to be mindful of even how you respond, because the other customers are paying attention to how you respond. You know, sometimes, like she was saying, the customer came in and walk in and they want to be serviced, and we handle it in such a professional way that when the customer leaves, you know, the other customers come up to me and they're like, I just want to let you know that you handled that in such a professional way. You know, I could not have done a better job. You know, like, you know, I'm just so proud of how you handled it. You know, and sometimes because we're African American, you know, people think that we can be obnoxious sometimes, you know, and we're going to be beside ourselves, but we know how to handle ourselves, and we know how to handle all the customers that walk in.
Not to stick on the race, but being African American, when it came to your prices, did you ever get those customers that's like, come on, sis? Come on, queen. Like,
We
can I get a discount? Like,
Right.
how did you handle? Like, were you kind of like, come on, come on, you, like, support, or how did you
I'm
handle
so
that?
sorry, that's the price. You know,
But were you kind of surprised, like?
not from certain people.
Okay.
No. But we don't get that anymore. I mean, that's happened maybe
You're fully
like
established.
that's happened maybe like 2 years ago. It's time for us to raise our
So-
prices now.
We do say that. But you know what?
Rent goes up.
No,
But you know what? During birthday parties, sometimes if they have a no-show, because you know we have a contract and we, you know, state the rules in advance, and they adhere to the rules, right? And so, you know, if they have a no-show, you know, they'll say, well, I just want my money back, or I just want to be refunded, you know, or you don't have to, you know what? You don't have to give me my money back. Just give me a store credit. And you just have to let them know what the policy is and what you agreed to before you sign this contract. And then they say, well, I'm never coming back. Ma'am, this is our policy. You know, I'm sorry. And then I had to be real one day, and I said, well, could you imagine if I did that for every birthday party parent that walked in here? I said, I'd have no business. The doors would be closed. And that's the reality. Sometimes you have to put your foot down.
And I feel like some people do research before reaching out, so they realize that it's 2 young Black entrepreneurs, so some people feel like they can take advantage.
Right.
And so when you let them know that this is your policy, and I understand, man, if this place is not the place that you should have your party, no problem. Then they're like, oh, no, well, my daughter wants their party there. Okay, then you will pay the price.
Make it happen.
Otherwise, you know, you can find another venue. You know, letting people know that we're not pressed for your business. We're not going to sell our soul to get you as a customer. You know, you have to stay true to your business and know that your business model works. It's been working, and you can get with it or you can get without it. Just go somewhere else. So just staying firm and professional at the same time. We have contracts just like every other business. We have policies just like every other business. We get that a lot. Oh, but at so-and-so place, they don't do that. And you say, well, ma'am, we're not affiliated. You know? and it happens.
That's a good answer. It's a good response.
And I think it helps being a parent because my kids have had birthday parties in several different venues, so I can let them know, well, ma'am, I'm sorry, at American Girl, this wouldn't happen, that type of a thing. So it's like, you can't pull a fast one on me because I'm an experienced mom as well as an entrepreneur. So, I get it, and I'm going to let you know.
So what's next? What's for the future of the brand? Any exclusives you can tell us, or?
At first we wanted to open up another salon, and eventually we will. But in 2016 we launched a non-toxic nail polish line, and so we plan to start a hair care line and franchise. So many people want to be a part of our business, and so we have to make sure that the business model works. So we plan to franchise and also open up another location, but staffing is rough.
And you know what? And talking about what's next, and she's saying franchise. So we do get the customers that come internationally, that come from international countries, and so be mindful that you have to spend money, save money, because you have to trademark. Because guess what? It's not only the U.S. that's watching us; it's international markets. So we have to spend money to trademark in Europe, in some of the countries, because they're copying, they're looking, they're paying attention. So, and that was something that we did not think of when, we first thought of milk and cookies in the United States, so that's something that if we do franchise, we would love to do something internationally as well.
Nice.
But you have to save your money and have it on deck,
Right.
because you have to trademark internationally as well.
So what did you learn throughout your whole entrepreneur journey? What was like some of the biggest lessons that you can share that can benefit for them?
For me, it was everything. When you start a business, you want to do everything. Everything seems so important, but learning how to budget and start with what's important first, and having reserve, because some seasons may be better than others. For us with children, summer's our slow market. It may seem busy, but it's slow. Kids are away at camp. Kids are on vacation, kids are at the pool, so learning how to budget so that you can still cover your expenses. And also learning how to reduce them too. Right. So for me, cash flow and kind of just operations, making sure that it's solid.
And for you?
I think with the human capital, having patience with your staff, understanding your staff, you hire them to do a job, but training, you have to train them, and then you have to have patience so it could be implemented what you trained them on.
So I have one last question, and then if you guys have a question, I'll come on the audience. But what does entrepreneurship mean to you guys?
Ooh.
And it doesn't have to be one word. You could just, give me a paragraph too.
It means leading a team, being responsible, making the right decisions.
Hard work, sacrificing, everything, dedication,
knowledge, learning your market. No one can tell me anything about a kid's salon or spa. I got it down pat.
Which is beneficial for like investors.
Yeah.
They want to know, do you know your numbers?
Yes.
Which is good. That's something I stress, that you have to know your market.
Absolutely.
Because you need to know who you're selling to.
Absolutely.
Anybody have any questions? Alright, so I'm gonna come out there. So first off, let's give a round of applause. Please. Because you guys y'all really told the truth to.
Yes.
Well, no
Y'all
way.
told the